I'm sharing the summer camp collection from Spellbinders, and I've made 6 cards using this. Hey everyone, it's Joy here, and welcome to my channel. Hey guys, I just wanted to let you know this is a long video. It's about 32 minutes, 33 minutes long, but I've made 6 cards using this whole collection. You guys are definitely going to want to see it, so please hang out. I appreciate it. These are so cute and I had so much fun. Okay, so we are going to start here with the hedgehog. So there is quite a bit of product here. We have sentiments, we have a stencil, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 die sets that I'm going to be using. So we have the, like I said, the hedgehog. I believe this is part of the Woodland Trio die set. And I am using cardstock from Spellbinders. I do speed up some of this stuff because, again, it's a long video. So we're going to be putting a lot of this together. I created some really fun backgrounds. We're going to be using a stencil for some of the backgrounds, ink blending for some of the backgrounds. We're making daytime scenes, nighttime scenes. This took me a few days to make these because, number one, I was really tired. And I think I'm just tired all the time. But I spent some hours each day die cutting and, getting all this. So this is a lot of stuff. So it is a lot of die cutting if you're using every single one of the products. But I have to say, it is worth it because these guys are so darn cute. Now, something you're going to notice when I am making these little critters is I like to give their heads a little bit of dimension. So I add 1mm foam adhesive to their neck. Mainly, this guy has, he's a hedgehog. He has all his little fun little spikes there. And so I added it to the back of that, but I do just add a little bit of foam adhesive because it just gives them a little extra dimension. So the hedgehog, I used fawn, acorn, truffle, and black cardstock. This is the deer. I used fawn, alabaster, acorn, and of course black cardstock. This is part of the Woodland Trio. Then we're going to have the Trailside Trio. So there's 6 cute, adorable critters in this. Again, I had so much fun making these cards. I just knew this was going to be such a good time. So I'm glad that I picked all the products. But look at how cute this deer is. Oh my goodness. And think about if you have some of these critters in your stash, how you can use them on other cards. They don't have to just be for this cute summer camp theme. And it is cute, you guys. All of the dies and everything that go with it are so cute. I will have everything listed and linked for you guys below in the description. If anything is out of stock, just hit the notify me button and you will get notified when it comes back in. And you guys are definitely going to want this. So here's our darling little deer. You can just see how I'm gluing the arms on. The deer has cute little hooves that you're going to add to the arms and legs, which is so darling. I love these. I love these little guys. So I'm going a bit slower on putting these guys together so you can see where everything goes. I will go quicker when we're putting all of the cards together. And when I'm doing some ink blending, I'm going to speed that up just a little bit too. But you can always slow it down using the gear on YouTube. So you can just hit that and pick a speed. Then we have our squirrel here. I'm using terracotta, fawn, and black. I love this little squirrel. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. They're just so cute. It kind of reminds me of Chip and Dale from Disney. I think he's just darling, even though they're chipmunks, but it kind of reminds me of that. The little face and stuff reminds me of that. So let's get him put together. A lot of these pieces are interchangeable, which is nice as far as the critters go. So when you get each little trio pack, you have everything you need to make all 3 of those critters in those packs. So again, this is the Woodland Trio, and then we're going to work on the Trailside Trio here in just a minute. They've got cute little ears. They've got their little belly pieces. Some of them, of course, have fluffy tails. Some of them don't have tails that you see. So, you know, you get to add those pieces. I just think these dies are absolutely darling. And all of everything that you get, you know, if you bought every die, everything that you get just goes, of course, it's meant to go well, but it's just so cute, and all the different cards that you can make. Like, I am not going to be done using these because they are just so much fun. And then you'll notice some of these, I'm going to tilt their heads just a little bit. It gives them a little extra character rather than just sitting straight on all the time, which is also fine, but I definitely like to add a little bit of character. This is the fox from the Trailside trio. Then we're going to have a raccoon and a skunk. So we have all these darling little critters. They are so much fun. And the fox, I don't know if I said terracotta, alabaster, and carrot. So we're going to attach his ears to his little head here. And this is all cardstock from Spellbinders. I tried to be really good when I was putting when I was picking out all of my colors for each of my critters, I was writing it down so I didn't have to try to remember later, because, you know, sometimes that's a little hard when you have this much stuff going on. You kind of need to make sure you get all of that information written down. And his darling little tail, oh my goodness, how cute is he? Here's our raccoon. My youngest son, Johnny, loves raccoons. He wants one for a pet. I'm like, that's never going to happen. Never, ever. But he loves a raccoon, so he thought this was really cute. So we have his eyes, and then we're going to finish up with his muzzle and the rest of the coloring on his face here. And then that rectangular piece, they give you that in the die to put behind his eyes. And I'm just using like a white pen to add the white dots to their eyes. I started off using the white luster marker from scrapbook.com. It has a really good point, but I was messy with it. So I ended up using a white gel pen, and that worked a little bit better to add the white dot. We have the stripes for the tail here. And for the raccoon, I used Fog, which is the lighter gray, Anchor, and then black. And isn't this so cute? And then I do just pop the little eyes in place, even though you have that black background. You actually could do it in white and then add the black eyes, and you wouldn't have to add any little white pieces or any little white gel pen dots. You could do it that way as well. Okay, now we've got his ears. How cute is he? And these are such good sized critters for your cards. So I made 3 horizontal and 3 vertical cards. So I could just kind of show you, different ways to put this together. I created all scene cards, which I love a scene card. I haven't made a ton of them in the last few years, but I love them. So that's why this was so much fun to put these guys together, because I love a good scene card. So, if you wanted to make a bunch of these, you could just sit and watch TV or listen to a audio book or a murder show, kind of like me, or scary stories from YouTube. I like to listen to the scary Appalachian stories while I'm making cards. And so it was perfect when I was doing these camping ones and I was listening to that. It was just so funny. But anyways, you could listen to whatever and do all of your die cutting, which is kind of what I did the first 2 days. It didn't take me all day, but the lot of time I had for this, I did that. So, and then finally we have our skunk here, and I am going to use Fog for his face and his belly, actually, the light gray cardstock, black of course, and then white for his tail. I wanted his tail to stand out a little bit brighter than his face. And really, you didn't really need to do the bellies on most of these guys if you're going to put their little clothes on. I didn't think that far ahead. I wasn't trying to. I was just trying to get all of my pieces die cut and then all of my pieces adhered, and then I could put everything together, because this was a big project and my brain just doesn't work as well as it used to. So I had to break it up into a lot of tiny little pieces. And so you end up putting on their little clothes because that's part of the accessories, you guys. And it is so cute. Okay, so let's get his arms and his cute little tail. And then I'm going to tell you a story about a skunk when I was younger. It was just so funny. But I have to see what we're going to be doing next, and then I can probably tell you. His arm kept coming off. And then we're going to add his little tail here. How cute. Okay, and then we have, these are the trees. This is the, oh my goodness. I think this is the Trails End die set. So you have 3 different trees with 3 different trunks. You have signs, you have a wooden post, and I will be showing the wooden post and the signs as we're putting the cards together because I wasn't quite sure, you know, what I wanted where. And then there's a hammock, which is so darling. I did die cut for 2 hammocks. I'm just showing making 1. I only ended up using 1. But if you make extra, then you just already have pieces done for cards that you make in the future. Then this is Splash Days, I believe. This has a canoe. You've got a bathing suit, swim trunks. So cute. I mean, the accessories and details on these, you guys, are darling. There's also a life vest that we're going to put together. That's so cute. I mean, they just thought of everything when they put these dies together. So here's our cute little life vest. So let me see what colors we used here. For the trees, we used acorn, truffle, fern, and rainforest. The hammock, I used celestial and cosmic sky. Then we have the life jacket is carrot and cosmic sky. The canoe is cosmic sky, acorn, and fawn. The suits were carrot and cosmic sky and celestial, wild berry, and tutu. And then we're going to have a fishing pole with the fish. So the fishing poles are carrot and beeswax, and the fishing pole is acorn and black. I do end up having to ink blend one of the fishing poles just because it kind of overlapped the canoe, but you know, those kind of things. When you're planning out 6 scene cards, you kind of figure out the details later. And then this is the, what are you called? Camp Days. So the Camp Days has a ton of fun stuff, you guys. We've got, of course, have our fire here. I love the logs. They have so much detail. So really cute. The fire is going to be saffron, beeswax, and carrot. Then we have, oh my goodness, what is this? Acorn and truffle for the wood. There's a walking stick that's from acorn there, and then the little roasting stick for your marshmallows. How cute is that? Then we have a lantern here, and the lantern is black and fog cardstock along with beeswax for the little light there. I mean, it's so cute. Then there's a whole complete outfit that has hiking boots, a backpack, a hat. So we're going to put that together. We have white and black and rainforest for our little tennis racket here with a little ball. Oh my gosh, so cute. I did fog cardstock for that. Darling. I mean, all of these little details. I think I ended up not using the tennis racket, but I used everything else. So the bigger sticks are the walking sticks. Oh, you have an ice cream, which is cute. So I made chocolate because I'm a chocolate ice cream kind of person. And then white cardstock for our marshmallows. So cute. We have our target with our bow and arrow. The target is poppy and fog with acorn and truffle and anchor cardstock. And I love to shoot a bow, you guys. My husband has a bow. My son has a bow. My son has, I think it's like one like this, which I can't remember what that one kind is called. And it's really fun. And I'm actually a really, really good shot at it. I think I got close to a bullseye once. So anyways, we're putting all those little pieces. We got a couple arrows here. I mean, just cute stuff. And then we have the clothes. We're not going to put the clothes on yet. I was going to put the hat together. I'm just going to put the band on, but actually you have to put the hat together on the critter. So I'm not going to do that. But we have Fawn, Anchor, Celestial, which is blue, Truffle, Black, and Acorn for our clothes here. So you have these cute little shorts with the pockets. You have your little V-neck shirt. It's so cute. And you have your hiking boots. And how cute is that? Oh my gosh, these are just darling. So now I believe we have everything put together. Oh no, the backpack. So sorry. Then we have the backpack here. And so that is going to be our last piece of all of our little accessories to our critters to make all of these fun camping summer camp cards. And it just so cute. My youngest son went to like a little Christian summer camp for a few years, and boy did he love it. Okay, let's start on our first. I'm going to do the nighttime scenes first because we're going to use some stencil paste and that needs to dry. So I am using, what do we have here? Gathered twigs. So this is going to be for our dirt. I want to have kind of a light radiating off of where the fire is going to be. I am using Simon Hurley's new blender, his little blender brushes, and I'm using scrapbook.com's, oh my gosh, what is their cardstock called? Sorry guys. Their Studio White, and Cody's like, it ink blends really well. And you guys, it really does. It ink blends so nicely. And with these brushes, gorgeous. So here's Villainous Potion. I want to kind of have a purpley blue sky. My husband was like, maybe do kind of purple for the sky. So I did. He loves to camp. We've done camping. We love to be out. We have a mountain not too far from us. Like literally it takes us maybe 30 minutes to get to the top of the mountain we live at the base of. And it's gorgeous. And I have this stuck to my grip mate from scrapbook.com. And I'm just kind of lining everything up. I'm starting with scattered straw, which you probably could leave out in general, but I still used it on both the cards. I'm not going to show you both backgrounds, but I did a horizontal and a vertical background exactly the same way, just laid out a little bit differently with the same color. So I saved us some time by not showing the same backgrounds. So we're going to add a little bit of that carved pumpkin. We did a little bit of, oh, what was the other color I did? Wild honey. And that's going to give us that glow from the fire. Let's add more of that Villainous Potion. Then I do want to bring in, I think it's chipped sapphire, and then black soot, just to really give it that dark feel. So chipped sapphire at the top blending with that Villainous Potion is perfect. And I wanted to do a starry sky. So I'm actually using Lawn Fawn's Starry Sky Stencil. We're going to use Simon Hurley's Beluga Solar Paste because it's purpley and perfect for these stars. And I'm going to do that for both of the backgrounds, and then I'm going to set that aside to dry so we can work on the rest of the backgrounds. So again, if you need to slow this down to kind of see what I'm doing, just hit that gear. I'm sorry I had to speed everything up, but I had to fit all 6 of these cards in this video. I did not want to do a part 1 or part 2, but I figured you guys could slow that down. So there we go. And I did add a little bit of scorched timber at the bottom with gathered twigs. So here is that stencil. I'm going to make sure to not go over the glow of the fire. I'm just going to go over where it's darker. And you guys, this came out perfect. So they shimmer and shine like they're glowing when you tilt them in the light, but they're purpley, so it kind of goes with the sky. And you know, when you're up camping, you just see all those gorgeous stars. Look at how beautiful that is. Okay, so I already did my second one. That's set aside to dry. Now we're going to be using the Lakeside Memories stencil. I'm doing 2 of this. I'm only going to show you one. I'm doing it exactly the same colors. So let's start with the Green Mountains Far Off. I'm going to use Mowed Lawn for that. And this is going to create 2 fabulous backgrounds. I think this stencil is a must because I think my favorite card uses one of these backgrounds. So there's a few layering stencils and they're numbered. I think there's 4, so it's numbered 1 through 4. Now we're going to add our fun pine trees. So I'm going to use a rustic wilderness so we can see that from far away. So let's add those. And I've been trying to remember to clean my stencils off before I take them off the background. It makes it so much easier. As long as you don't accidentally blend one color into the other. Then we're going to create the water and the sky. So that has a sun, some clouds, you've got some ripples in the water. And I want to start with Salty Ocean. And then I'm going to add a little bit of Uncharted Mariner on the outside edges. And again, I'm doing 2 of these backgrounds, exactly the same. So I'm just going to show you the one. And again, that paper and this blending tool is fabulous. I saw Cody and Laura talk about these, and they really are so soft. So I have the smaller ones. I think I'm going to order the bigger ones too, I think. We'll see here. But I definitely want to get more of the smaller ones. And they did great for coloring this whole background. So there is that little bit of Uncharted Mariner on the outside edges. You know, lake water can be pretty dark, sometimes a little spooky. I grew up in Vegas, and so we would go out on Lake Mead, and my parents had a boat, and we would go out really far. And I remember jumping into, I think I was like 14, and I hadn't thought about how deep it was, just hadn't. And it was hot, so we all jumped in, and I remember mid-air jumping in going, oh my gosh, this water is so dark and so deep. And I totally wanted to like Scooby-Doo my way back into the boat from the mid-air, and I just could not. It was awful, but I could not get in that boat fast enough. Okay, we did squeezed lemonade for the sun, and then gathered twigs here for the dirt, the sand, really. I mean, the ground. And there's not a lot of sandy lakes, is there? It's more rocky. Either way, super cute background. Okay, we have 2 more backgrounds to make. So one of these backgrounds, and ignore what I do here in a second because you don't even see it. But this one I knew was going to be for my little guy who is going to be walking on the trails. And so I thought, oh, if I just make this little trail that, you know, goes off, it didn't make any sense. And so ignore that. So I'm just adding my gathered twigs for the ground. And this one, I am just going to do the whole background green. The feeling I wanted for this was that this guy's hiking and he's just in the thick of the forest. And so just adding some green, and not perfectly. So I started with mowed lawn, and then I'm going to come in and kind of in a splotchy way, add the rustic wilderness. So it's not perfect. So you kind of have a little bit of variation going on in the background. And so once this card is put together, you guys will see, and it actually is really cute because it does look like a hot mess right now. And I promise it's not a hot mess. Let me clean off my grip mate, and we're going to make our last background, and then we can start putting this together. Thanks for hanging in, guys, because I'm telling you these cards are worth it. So this one is just going to be really just blue sky, a little bit of ground, a little bit of grass, but just the essence of it, if that makes sense. So let's bring in, and I'm going to do the Salty Ocean really light. Like I'm going really light-handed with the blending brush, which is really nice because if you go heavier handed, then it'll go on thicker. Okay, let's start putting our cards together. So here is our hedgehog. He is going to be our hiker. So we're going to dress him in all of the hiking clothes. We're going to bring in the cute little trail signs that I talked about I was going to do. So they have some things that says, I think it says B-Day, happy, we have summer, cabins, trails, I think there's something else, lake, and you have arrows, and then you have just straight little pieces that don't have arrows, and they are just so cute. So here's where I'm going to put in the back piece of the hat. I had to lift his little head up to get that tucked in there so you could see it, because on the sides of the hat, you see the back part. And so I wanted to make sure that we can see him. And then we're going to just put his little ears back in place. So like I said, when I was putting everything together, I had no idea who was going to do what activity. There's his darling little walking stick. We've got those trees that we put together. And so we're just creating this great little forest here. So we're going to do foam adhesive behind a lot of things because, you know, especially with this type of card, if you really want it to have that depth, you're going to need to add some foam adhesive behind it. So you could just do if you didn't want a lot, I end up using like 1 and 2 millimeter foam adhesive. If you didn't want to do that, then just glue some of your stuff directly to the background and then do 1 millimeter foam adhesive. But it looks better if you do, because things are just kind of popped up. It feels more 3D. It just really gives you this great feeling. Okay, so here's our little pieces. I've already die cut my wood pieces. So you have a dark and a light wood piece. And so from the light wood piece, I'm going to put my little sentiments on here, tape them in place, run them through my die cut machine. Now all the little letters pop out and you can inlay them, but I'm not, because that's a lot of work on a lot of cards. So I'm just adhering it to the back of a darker, or to the front of a darker piece. So that one says Trails. You can see it perfectly. And I think these signs are one of my favorite accessories with these dies. I just think they just make the whole thing. I'm going to put them on 3 cards, and 3 cards don't have them. And then we also have sentiments, summertime sentiments, that we will also be adding. So let's get our hedgehog in place. He's got his walking stick. He's holding his backpack. We're going to place our little sign, and we're going to do all the sentiments right at the end. And these are really cute sentiments, and there are a ton of them, you guys. I just obviously picked like 7 sentiments to put on here, and they are so cute. Okay. And then I will show you here, but on all of my critters and trees and stuff, I'm going to use a white gel pen to add some white little highlights to noses, to some of the trees, to the clothes, because I didn't do ink blending on the trees or the critters. It was just, that would have been a lot, and I would have loved to have done ink blending, but I'm going to add some white highlights. Okay, then we have our darling squirrel here. So doing the archery, it's summer camp, so she's in her bathing suit because, you know, after this she's going to go jump in the lake or whatever. So again, I like to do archery with my husband and my son, and we go up on the mountain and do it. And they always crack up because I really am a really good shot, and they both are just like, oh my gosh, you're so good. I'm a really good shot with a gun too. Like I've surprised my husband a lot. I have a very good aim. Okay, so we've got that bullseye there. We're going to add another little arrow to the bow here, and she is just going to have a good time at her summer camp. I think she's so cute. Let's create one of our, with our stenciled backgrounds, we have our deer here in her bathing suit with her ice cream. We're going to create this fun scene up front. So again, the stenciled scene is kind of the background, and anything that's hanging over the edge, I will trim off. And again, if you need to slow this down, hit that little gear. I really had to speed this stuff up. Otherwise, this video probably would have been like 45 minutes long. I don't think I could talk that long straight. And then we're going to have the sign here that says Happy Summer. So cute. She's just having a good time, having a treat. Don't you love this stencil background? It creates this whole scene. Oh my gosh, it's darling. Cute, cute. Okay, this one I think is my #1 favorite scene, which I didn't expect, but it is. So he's got his life jacket, his swim trunks on. He is going to have been canoeing and fishing. Now, I have to, because this card is, the way it's sitting is vertical, I can't fit the whole canoe on there with everything else that I want. So yes, I'm going to trim a lot of that off. So we're going to create this little, what I'm calling is a partial scene off the left side with the canoe, but it gives you the idea of what's going on. So again, this is where layering your stuff, adding some foam adhesive really makes a huge difference when you're creating your scene cards. Let a lot of this stuff go off the edge. You get a full scene without having to have everything in the center. So he's going to overlap the canoe and the tree just a little bit, but then you see really what's going on. He went fishing. He caught 2 cute fish. This is where I had to bring in a little bit of ink on my fishing pole, because you couldn't see it over the canoe there. Then his sign is, and then I did want to bring in one of the other little paddles because you couldn't see it because I cut it off. And so I wanted one at the bottom. So I brought that in. And then this says Lake and Cabins. How cute is that with the little arrows? And I will show you guys all of these slower and in more at the end of the video, like I always do. This one might be my second scene. We've got our night scene here. We've got our trees. We're going to have our fire with the glow. The fox here will be roasting some marshmallows. I added a little bit of scorched timber and black soot to the bottom of the marshmallows. I don't know about you guys. I like my marshmallows torched, completely black on the outside. I think they're so yummy that way. And then I'm going to throw a little bit of marshmallows, a couple marshmallows over here on this side, but how cute. Okay, and then the skunk, he's going to be cooking a fish, and I actually ended up getting him an outfit, not the life jacket. And then here is that hammock. So again, I'm going to go off the right side because it won't fit in the complete scene. But really quick, growing up, my parents thought we had a mouse in our house. I mean, I was little. I was probably like 3 or 4, and I remember this very well. So they set a trap in the bathroom sink, and we all heard it go off. And when my dad went in to go find it, it was gone. So my dad's like, oh my gosh, we've got the biggest rat because it took off with the trap, right? And so it was like the next day, my mom went into my room to put up some clothes, and there was a baby skunk. Well, not a baby, but a small skunk with the trap on its tail. So we had a skunk in our house. It had sprayed all of my clothes in my closet. And so I remember my dad going in and getting it, and he was holding it outside, and it didn't spray him. And he told me, go inside and get a bag. And, you know, back then it was just all paper bags. So I brought out a paper bag, and as he was putting that skunk in really carefully, as he was pulling his hand out of the paper bag, it sprayed him, and he smelled so bad for forever. But he was just like, that must be a rat that took off with the trap. Oh my gosh, it was awful. But yeah, all my cute little dresses when I was little. Okay, so I'm taking these little extra pieces of tree. I didn't have any trunks for them. I didn't need it. And I'm just going to adhere them to the side to give a bit more of the tree feel there. And then here's a little outfit for the skunk to wear. But look at that. And look at the starry sky. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, we're coming to the end. Here's the sentiment. So I stamped with black ink on white cardstock. So that one says, happy birthday and mini s'mores. Wild and free. You're a real catch. That one says swim, snack, repeat. How perfect are these? Adventure waits. And then camp more, worry less. And now let's take a look at these up close. Oh my gosh. Cute. So cute. The backgrounds are fun, but these dies are darling. All the 3 different types of trees, just all the details. Here's my favorite card. I love it. That stencil, you guys, is pretty awesome. All the little critters. Look at that darling deer, the signs, the sentiments. There's so many more sentiments. He's just hiking, having a really good time. And then he's going to be sleeping out and cooking up his fish. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed all of these cards. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you feel inspired, and I hope you guys have a really wonderful weekend. Bye.